the new God of grace, the new gods of grace, the new God of grace, the new goddess of grace, the new goddesses of grace, the new goddess of grace, the old God of grace, the old gods of grace, the old God of grace, the old goddess of grace, the old goddesses of grace, the old goddess of grace, the greater God of grace, the greater gods of grace, the greater God of grace, the greater goddess of grace, the greater goddesses of grace, the greater goddess of grace, the lesser God of grace, the lesser gods of grace, the lesser God of grace, the lesser goddess of grace, the lesser goddesses of grace, the lesser goddess of grace, the higher God of grace, the higher gods of grace, the higher God of grace, the higher goddess of grace, the higher goddesses of grace, the higher goddess of grace, the lower God of grace, the lower gods of grace, the lower God of grace, the lower goddess of grace, the lower goddesses of grace, the lower goddess of grace, the greater spirit of grace, the greater spirits of grace, the greater spirit of grace, the lesser spirit of grace, the lesser spirits of grace, the lesser spirit of grace, the higher spirit of grace, the higher spirits of grace, the higher spirit of grace, the lower spirit of grace, the lower spirits of grace, the lower spirit of grace, the major God of grace, the major gods of grace, the major God of grace, the major goddess of grace, the major goddesses of grace, the major goddess of grace, the minor God of grace, the minor gods of grace, the minor God of grace, the minor goddess of grace, the minor goddesses of grace, the minor goddess of grace, the superior God of grace, the superior gods of grace, the superior God of grace, the superior goddess of grace, the superior goddesses of grace, the superior goddess of grace, the inferior God of grace, the inferior gods of grace, the inferior God of grace, the inferior goddess of grace, the inferior goddesses of grace, the inferior goddess of grace, the ancestor God of grace, the ancestor gods of grace, the ancestor God of grace, the ancestor goddess of grace, the ancestor goddesses of grace, the ancestor goddess of grace, the ascendant God of grace, the ascendant gods of grace, the ascendant God of grace, the ascendant goddess of grace, the ascendant goddesses of grace, the ascendant goddess of grace, the descendant God of grace, the descendant gods of grace, the descendant God of grace, the descendant goddess of grace, the descendant goddesses of grace, the descendant goddess of grace, the transcendent God of grace, the transcendent gods of grace, the transcendent God of grace, the transcendent goddess of grace, the transcendent goddesses of grace, the transcendent goddess of grace, the past God of grace, the past gods of grace, the past God of grace, the past goddess of grace, the past goddesses of grace, the past goddess of grace, the present God of grace, the present gods of grace, the present God of grace, the present goddess of grace, the present goddesses of grace, the present goddess of grace, the future God of grace, the future gods of grace, the future God of grace, the future goddess of grace, the future goddesses of grace, the future goddess of grace, the authentic God of grace, the authentic gods of grace, the authentic God of grace, the authentic goddess of grace, the authentic goddesses of grace, the authentic goddess of grace, the synthetic God of grace, the synthetic gods of grace, the synthetic God of grace, the synthetic goddess of grace, the synthetic goddesses of grace, the synthetic goddess of grace, the progressive God of grace, the progressive gods of grace, the progressive God of grace, the progressive goddess of grace, the progressive goddesses of grace, the progressive goddess of grace, the regressive God of grace, the regressive gods of grace, the regressive God of grace, the regressive goddess of grace, the regressive goddesses of grace, the regressive goddess of grace, the ordinary God of grace, the ordinary gods of grace, the ordinary God of grace, the ordinary goddess of grace, the ordinary goddesses of grace, the ordinary goddess of grace, the extraordinary God of grace, the extraordinary gods of grace, the extraordinary God of grace, the extraordinary goddess of grace, the extraordinary goddesses of grace, the extraordinary goddess of grace, the static God of grace, the static gods of grace, the static God of grace, the static goddess of grace, the static goddesses of grace, the static goddess of grace, the dynamic God of grace, the dynamic gods of grace, the dynamic God of grace, the dynamic goddess of grace, the dynamic goddesses of grace, the dynamic goddess of grace, the land God of grace, the land gods of grace, the land God of grace, the land goddess of grace, the land goddesses of grace, the land goddess of grace, the sea God of grace, the sea gods of grace, the sea God of grace, the sea goddess of grace, the sea goddesses of grace, the sea goddess of grace, the sky God of grace, the sky gods of grace, the sky God of grace, the sky goddess of grace, the sky goddesses of grace, the sky goddess of grace, the God of grace, the gods of grace, the God of grace, the goddess of grace, the goddesses of grace, the goddess of grace, the half God of grace, the half gods of grace, the half God of grace, the half goddess of grace, the half goddesses of grace, the half goddess of grace, the vessel of grace, the vessels of grace, the vessel of grace, the name of grace, the names of grace, the name of grace, the person of grace, the persons of grace, the person of grace, the persona of grace, the personas of grace, the persona of grace, the personage of grace, the personages of grace, the personage of grace, the personality of grace, the personalities of grace, the personality of grace, the personification of grace, the personifications of grace, the personification of grace, the image of grace, the images of grace, the image of grace, the imagination of grace, the imaginations of grace, the imagination of grace, the belief of grace, the beliefs of grace, the belief of grace, the thought of grace, the thoughts of grace, the thought of grace, the word of grace, the words of grace, the word of grace, the action of grace, the actions of grace, the action of grace, the reaction of grace, the reactions of grace, the reaction of grace, the feeling of grace, the feelings of grace, the feeling of grace, the situation of grace, the situations of grace, the situation of grace, the circumstance of grace, the circumstances of grace, the circumstance of grace, the environment of grace, the environments of grace, the environment of grace, the relationship of grace, the relationships of grace, the relationship of grace, the number of grace, the numbers of grace, the number of grace, the formula of grace, the formulas of grace, the formula of grace, the equation of grace, the equations of grace, the equation of grace, the theory of grace, the theories of grace, the theory of grace, the symbol of grace, the symbols of grace, the symbol of grace, the color of grace, the colors of grace, the color of grace, the thing of grace, the things of grace, the thing of grace, the way of grace, the ways of grace, the way of grace, the place of grace, the places of grace, the place of grace, the time of grace, the times of grace, the time of grace, the event of grace, the events of grace, the event of grace, the result of grace, the results of grace, the result of grace, the crown of grace, the crowns of grace, the crown of grace, the throne of grace, the thrones of grace, the throne of grace, the grace king, the grace kings, the grace kingdom, the grace kingdoms, the grace king's subject, the grace king's subjects, the grace king's dominion, the grace king's dominions, the kingdom of grace, the kingdoms of grace, the kingdom of grace, the grace queen, the grace queens, the grace queendom, the grace queendoms, the grace queen's subject, the grace queen's subjects, the grace queen's dominion, the grace queen's dominions, the queendom of grace, the queendoms of grace, the queendom of grace, the grace prince, the grace princes, the grace princedom, the grace princedoms, the grace prince's subject, the grace prince's subjects, the grace prince's dominion, the grace prince's dominions, the princedom of grace, the princedoms of grace, the princedom of grace, the grace princess, the grace princesses, the grace princessdom, The Grace Princess doms. The Grace Princess is subject. The Grace Princess is subjects. The Grace Princess is dominion. The Grace Princess is dominions. The Princess Dom of Grace. The Princess Doms of Grace. The Princess Dom of Grace. The Lord of Grace. The Lords of Grace. The Lord of Grace. The Lordess of Grace. The Lordesses of Grace. The Lordess of Grace. The Priest of Grace. The Priests of Grace. The Priest of Grace. The Priestess of Grace. The Priestesses of Grace. The Priestess of Grace. The Ritual of Grace. The Rituals of Grace. The Ritual of Grace. The Shrine of Grace. The Shrines of Grace. The Shrine of Grace. The Temple of Grace. The Temples of Grace. The Temple of Grace. The Leader of Grace. The Leaders of Grace. The Leader of Grace. The Follower of Grace. The Followers of Grace. The Follower of Grace. The Natural Substance of Grace. The Natural Substances of Grace. The Natural Substance of Grace. The Supernatural Substance of Grace. The Supernatural Substances of Grace. The Supernatural Substance of Grace. The Temporal Substance of Grace. The Temporal Substances of Grace. The Temporal Substance of Grace. The Spiritual Substance of Grace. The Spiritual Substances of Grace. The Spiritual Substance of Grace. The Natural Form of Grace. The Natural Forms of Grace. The Natural Form of Grace. The Supernatural Form of Grace. The Supernatural Forms of Grace. The Supernatural Form of Grace. The Temporal Form of Grace. The Temporal Forms of Grace. The Temporal Form of Grace. The Spiritual Form of Grace. The Spiritual Forms of Grace. The Spiritual Form of Grace. The Age of Grace. The Ages of Grace. The Age of Grace. The Era of Grace. The Heiress of Grace. The Era of Grace. The Awakener of Grace. The Awakeners of Grace. The Awakener of Grace. The Awakening of Grace. The Awakenings of Grace. The Awakening of Grace. The Realm of Grace. The Realms of Grace. The Realm of Grace. The Dimension of Grace. The Dimensions of Grace. The Dimension of Grace. The Zone of Grace. The Zones of Grace. The Zone of Grace. The Frequency of Grace. The Frequencies of Grace. The Frequency of Grace. The Century of Grace. The Centuries of Grace. The Century of Grace. The Millennium of Grace. The Millenniums of Grace. The Millennium of Grace. The Purpose of Grace. The Purposes of Grace. The Purpose of Grace. The Meaning of Grace. The Meanings of Grace. The Meaning of Grace. The Culture of Grace. The Cultures of Grace. The Culture of Grace. The Demonstrator of Grace. The Demonstrators of Grace. The Demonstrator of Grace. The Demonstration of Grace. The Demonstrations of Grace. The Demonstration of Grace. The Manifester of Grace. The Manifestors of Grace. The Manifester of Grace. The Manifestation of Grace. The Manifestations of Grace. The Manifestation of Grace. The Presence of Grace. The Presences of Grace. The Presence of Grace. The Glow of Grace. The Glows of Grace. The Glow of Grace. The Goal of Grace. The Goals of Grace. The Goal of Grace. The Plan of Grace. The Plans of Grace. The Plan of Grace. The Book of Grace. The Books of Grace. The Book of Grace. The Philosopher of Grace. The Philosophers of Grace. The Philosopher of Grace. The Philosophy of Grace. The Philosophies of Grace. The Philosophy of Grace. The Releaser of Grace. The Releasers of Grace. The Releaser of Grace. The Release of Grace. The Releases of Grace. The Release of Grace. The Variable of Grace. The Variables of Grace. The Variable of Grace. The Cause of Grace. The Causes of Grace. The Cause of Grace. The Effect of Grace. The Effects of Grace. The Effect of Grace. The Journey of Grace. The Journeys of Grace. The Journey of Grace. The Emergence of Grace. The Emergences of Grace. The Emergence of Grace. The Source of Grace. The Sources of Grace. The Source of Grace. The Originator of Grace. The Originators of Grace. The Originator of Grace. The Origin of Grace. The Origins of Grace. The Origin of Grace. The Forefather of Grace. The Forefathers of Grace. The Forefather of Grace. The Foremother of Grace. The Foremothers of Grace. The Foremother of Grace. The Ancestor of Grace. The Ancestors of Grace. The Ancestor of Grace. The Descendant of Grace. The Descendants of Grace. The Descendant of Grace. The Lineage of Grace. the lineages of grace, the lineage of grace, the heritage of grace, the heritages of grace, the heritage of grace, the heir of grace, the heirs of grace, the heir of grace, the co-heir of grace, the co-heirs of grace, the co-heir of grace, the joint heir of grace, the joint heirs of grace, the joint heir of grace, the dynasty of grace, the dynasties of grace, the dynasty of grace, the force of grace, the forces of grace, the force of grace, the law of grace, the laws of grace, the law of grace, the pact of grace, the pacts of grace, the pact of grace, the game of grace, the games of grace, the game of grace, the mask of grace, the masks of grace, the mask of grace, the armor of grace, the armors of grace, the armor of grace, the sword of grace, the swords of grace, the sword of grace, the shield of grace, the shields of grace, the shield of grace, the force shield of grace, the force shields of grace, the force shield of grace, the armored force shield of grace, the armored force shields of grace, the armored force shield of grace, the champion of grace, the champions of grace, the champion of grace, the guardian of grace, the guardians of grace, the guardian of grace, the defender of grace, the defenders of grace, the defender of grace, the protector of grace, the protectors of grace, the protector of grace, the chant of grace, the chants of grace, the chant of grace, the shape of grace, the shapes of grace, the shape of grace, the cube of grace, the cubes of grace, the cube of grace, the cuboid of grace, the cuboids of grace, the cuboid of grace, the sphere of grace, the spheres of grace, the sphere of grace, the spheroid of grace, the spheroids of grace, the spheroid of grace, the prism of grace, the prisms of grace, the prism of grace, the pyramid of grace, the pyramids of grace, the pyramid of grace, the cylinder of grace, the cylinders of grace, the cylinder of grace, the cone of grace, the cones of grace, the cone of grace, the triangle of grace, the triangles of grace, the triangle of grace, the circle of grace, the circles of grace, the circle of grace, the semicircle of grace, the semicircles of grace, the semicircle of grace, the square of grace, the squares of grace, the square of grace, the rectangle of grace, the rectangles of grace, the rectangle of grace, the parallelogram of grace, the parallelograms of grace, the parallelogram of grace, the rhombus of grace, the rhombuses of grace, the rhombus of grace, the trapezoid of grace, the trapezoids of grace, the trapezoid of grace, the polygon of grace, the polygons of grace, the polygon of grace, the pentagon of grace, the pentagons of grace, the pentagon of grace, the hexagon of grace, the hexagons of grace, the hexagon of grace, the septagon of grace, the septagons of grace, the septagon of grace, the octagon of grace, the octagons of grace, the octagon of grace, the nonagon of grace, the nonagons of grace, the nonagon of grace, the decagon of grace, the decagons of grace, the decagon of grace, the evolution of grace, the evolutions of grace, the evolution of grace, the revolution of grace, the revolutions of grace, the revolution of grace, the elemental art of grace, the elemental arts of grace, the elemental art of grace, the elemental science of grace, the elemental sciences of grace, the elemental science of grace, the elemental principle of grace, the elemental principles of grace, the elemental principle of grace, the elemental technology of grace, the elemental technologies of grace, the elemental technology of grace, the low elemental art of grace, the low elemental arts of grace, the low elemental art of grace, the low elemental science of grace, the low elemental sciences of grace, the low elemental science of grace, the low elemental principle of grace, the low elemental principles of grace, the low elemental principle of grace, the low elemental technology of grace, the low elemental technologies of grace, the low elemental technology of grace, the high elemental art of grace, the high elemental arts of grace, the high elemental art of grace, the high elemental science of grace, the high elemental sciences of grace, the high elemental science of grace, the high elemental principle of grace, the high elemental principles of grace, the high elemental principle of grace, the high elemental technology of grace, the high elemental technologies of grace, the high elemental technology of grace, the agent of grace, the agents of grace, the agent of grace, the agency of grace, the agencies of grace, the agency of grace, the amplifier of grace, the amplifiers of grace, the amplifier of grace, the amplification of grace, the amplifications of grace, the amplification of grace, the enhancer of grace, the enhancers of grace, the enhancer of grace, the enhancement of grace, the enhancements of grace, the enhancement of grace, the magnifier of grace, the magnifiers of grace, the magnifier of grace, the magnification of grace, the magnifications of grace, the magnification of grace, the influencer of grace, the influencers of grace, the influencer of grace, the influence of grace, the influences of grace, the influence of grace, the emanator of grace, the emanators of grace, the emanator of grace, the emanation of grace, the emanations of grace, the emanation of grace, the converger of grace, the convergers of grace, the converger of grace, the convergence of grace, the convergences of grace, the convergence of grace, the aura of grace, the auras of grace, the aura of grace, the impression of grace, the impressions of grace, the impression of grace, the intelligence of grace, the intelligences of grace, the intelligence of grace, the sophistication of grace, the sophistications of grace, the sophistication of grace, the genius of grace, the geniuses of grace, the genius of grace, the polymath of grace, the polymaths of grace, the polymath of grace, the psychic of grace, the psychics of grace, the psychic of grace, the knowledge of grace, the knowledges of grace, the knowledge of grace, the understanding of grace, the understandings of grace, the understanding of grace, the wisdom of grace, the wisdoms of grace, the wisdom of grace, the secret of grace, the secrets of grace, the secret of grace, the mystery of grace, the mysteries of grace, the mystery of grace, the revelation of grace, the revelations of grace, the revelation of grace, the tactic of grace, the tactics of grace, the tactic of grace, the strategy of grace, the strategies of grace, the strategy of grace, the strength of grace, the strengths of grace, the strength of grace, the might of grace, the mights of grace, the might of grace, the power of grace, the powers of grace, the power of grace, the authority of grace, the authorities of grace, the authority of grace, the dominion of grace, the dominions of grace, the dominion of grace, the rhythm of grace, the rhythms of grace, the rhythm of grace, the melody of grace, the melodies of grace, the melody of grace, the music of grace, the musics of grace, the music of grace, the lyric of grace, the lyrics of grace, the lyric of grace, the song of grace, the songs of grace, the song of grace, the dance of grace, the dances of grace, the dance of grace, the spirit of grace, the spirits of grace, the spirit of grace, the soul of grace, the souls of grace, the soul of grace, the body of grace, the bodies of grace, the body of grace, the mark of grace, the marks of grace, the mark of grace, the promise of grace, the promises of grace, the promise of grace, the visionary of grace, the visionaries of grace, the visionary of grace, the vision of grace, the visions of grace, the vision of grace, the picture of grace, the pictures of grace, the picture of grace, the sound of grace, the sounds of grace, the sound of grace, the dung of grace, the dungs of grace, the dung of grace, the language of grace, the languages of grace, the language of grace, the communication of grace, the communications of grace, the communication of grace, the people of grace, the peoples of grace, the people of grace, the society of grace, the societies of grace, the society of grace, the fortress of grace, the fortresses of grace, the fortress of grace, the government of grace, the governments of grace, the government of grace, the city of grace, the cities of grace, the city of grace, the nation of grace, the nations of grace, the nation of grace, the civilization of grace, the civilizations of grace, the civilization of grace, the world of grace, the worlds of grace, the world of grace,